We're going live right now.
Okay.
We're live.
Ready? Welcome to the show 24/7 Laredo, the Border Chronicles. Hi, I'm your host, Jesus Trugarza. As you know, 24/7 Laredo News is an original free and independent news site that talks about issues affecting Laredo. It does bring other news from other. What happened?
Go.
Well, like I mentioned to you earlier, we are an original free and independent news site that talks about original content and brings other issues as well. Now, I will remind you, of course, that during the course of the next 6 weeks, we will be having the show going on different days. So feel free to press the like button and the subscribe button on YouTube, so we can make sure that you don't miss any of the sites. Of course, this show is also bilingual, so occasionally we are going to go. We're going to talk just in Spanish because it depends on the topics and depends on the guests that we do have. So please be ready for that. And again, I'm really excited about having, for the first time, Ms. Cynthia Mares, who's in fact a Laredo College trustee, actually for the last 30 years. But I mean, through the course of all this, I've learned so much about her. So I'm really glad that you were able to make it. Welcome to the show.
No, thank you very much. I'm excited. My first time here, and obviously you have a wonderful setup here, and I hope to continue to be.
Oh, wonderful. So tell us about it. You've been on the running actually for 30 years, as I understand, but this is a brand new type of race. Tell us a little bit about it.
This campaign, has really energized me and motivated me. And of course, the ultimate question is, why are you running? Being that I've been on the board for over 30 years. And so now what made you run for the position of mayor? And I believe that I've always been a public servant everywhere that I've gone, and whether an elected office or my jobs, my positions, I've always gone to positions that will help, someone else. And so I've always been trying to help and improve my community. So seeing all the issues that are occurring right now, and that there's so much disarray and so much, discontentment just among city council and the frustrated taxpayers. Well, first of all, I am a taxpayer as well. So to see all those things going on, I've always been the one that if you want to make a difference, roll up your sleeves, get in there and pitch in as much as
Well,
you
you've
can.
actually been you've been in government office for at least, you said about 30 years at Laredo College.
Yes, sir.
That's a long run. I mean, I was on there for 31 years in the county, so I know it's a long run. So you've made community service your life, pretty much.
Yes, it is. I worked there before too. When I first out of college, I worked there for almost 20 years. So really half of my life, probably you can say, has
Yeah,
been
you can
spent
say definitely.
at Laredo College.
So what is your government experience in terms of your public service?
Well, beyond the Laredo College trustee position, which, like I said, has been just totally a phenomenal experience, because I've seen that college grow from what it was, in its times, the olden corral and all of that, to now all these modern buildings that we've been able to do for the service to our students in the community. Beyond that, my real jobs have been with the Webb County, and we're with Webb County.
Right.
I held several positions there until my last one, which was the Director of Human Resources and Administrative Services.
Right. Well, coming back to Laredo College, now you've been there, you said, for 30 years. So you were there when it was the original buildings of
Yes.
the college.
Yes.
And can I say before the bridge was even built?
Yes, you can say
Because
that.
let me tell you, that
Yes.
bridge did not exist. Those people who go to college nowadays have the privilege actually of going across the railroad yard and not have to worry about the traffic. But
Exactly.
it used to be that you would
Well,
stop.
the train would hold you up, and you'd be late to class. You'd be
Yes.
late to work, and that
Yes.
was always an issue. And then of course, that's the reason
So-
why that overpass
So,
came about.
so you've been around for that. You've also been around for the South Laredo campus.
Yes.
Tell us about how that came out.
That to me was, I feel that it was the greatest accomplishment of the board. Well, of course, we have to go to the citizens with a bond issue, but we felt that the phenomenal growth in this community, that we had to provide services in the South Laredo, because people were traveling and the trajectory, and again, traffic issues as the city was growing. So we said the only out is for us to go out and build a new center, a branch, a campus out there in the South. And so we embarked on this endeavor to go out to the community and see if they would support the bond issue. And we're very appreciative that they did. And so now, hence, you have that beautiful, beautiful facility.
It's a beautiful. I mean, I'm excited about it because of the fact is that there's actually educational facilities in South Laredo.
Exactly.
That ensures South Laredo residents will have an opportunity to have education, more so available to them. They'd never had that opportunity before.
No.
And you could only see certain types of neighborhoods getting
Exactly.
good education.
Exactly.
And so by having you all open up in the South, it opened up the eyes in the community in the South to be able to seriously consider college as their next part of their life.
I know. And in the health science area, we're very fortunate to have partnered with, a local entity to provide medical services to the citizens, sometimes even free of charge.
Right.
So I think you're right. It was a big boost, to that section of Laredo and the economy, and even the people from Zapata, because we serve people from Zapata and Webb County. So
And then you
Zapata
do
knowledge
serve
is
Rio
good.
Bravo and Cenizo
Yes,
sometimes.
exactly.
So, I mean, you
Mhm.
do,
Everyone.
you've opened
Yeah.
the doors for a lot of people down
Exactly.
there.
Exactly.
So now, you, during that period of time, you were also working for the county.
Yes, I was. I have
And
been at the same time.
So
Yes.
how many years did you work for the county?
Well, I was with the Human Resources Department, Director of Administrative Services. That was almost 18 years. And prior to that, I was the director of the Community Action Agency. That's my first job there with the county as director of the Community Action Agency. I did that for about 3 or 4 years when then I was transferred over to the other administrative part.
Now, if I remember correctly, you are not getting paid working as a trustee.
No, we don't. No, we
So
don't.
you've actually put in 30 years of your time
Yes, sir.
at no cost,
Exactly.
pretty much, of
Exactly.
your own personal time.
Mhm, yeah.
So you did work for the county, and you worked from the 1990s till a few years ago,
Yes, sir. To 2017.
2017. And
Mhm.
the last job that you had was as a human resource.
That's
I
good.
mean, I remember you created, because I was working for the county, you created the wellness centers, wellness fairs
Mhm,
we didn't have before.
exactly.
What other projects did you start in the county?
Well, actually, when we were in administrative services, we built the human resources department. There was no human resources. And to my astonishment, I said, you have over 1,600 employees. So where do they go for issues and concerns and health things? And there was no. So then by bringing that up, I was told, well, you start up a human resources department. So that was very challenging. And to me, that was, a great thing because my adrenaline gets going when I have new projects to do. So we built the human resources department. And then with that, the community centers and the wellness, to provide to all these outlying areas that don't have access to that.
Wow. So in essence, you actually created the department from nothing,
Scratch.
pretty much.
Yes,
Wow.
sir.
Nowadays, you left about a year or two ago, a couple of years ago,
Yes, sir.
and there were some issues that came up.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit about it or how it got resolved?
Well, obviously, like all things, sometimes there's going to be disagreements or different points of view. So the commissioners court apparently had,
I mean,
yes.
you have five bosses.
had, yes, 5 bosses with all the different opinions, and you work as best as you can. But there came a point, I guess, where we had different perspectives on things, and they felt one way and the other. So they felt that it was time, I guess, for me to, to go. And they wanted to go in another direction. And so, we parted. It was an issue that I believe was not a correct, a matter of dismissing me. So I just pursued legal action. But at the end of the day, there was a federal court and a federal judge who agreed with me. And so we settled that case, amicably. And, we came to good terms after that.
Well, and since then, you're still a member of the Laredo College Trustees.
Yes, sir. I still am.
And you continue to serve under
Yes.
and moving the projects forward
Exactly.
as well. So
Yeah.
do you feel that now that at this point of your life that you're ready to take on a much more bigger role?
I think so. I think all these years at the college have prepared me for that. Administratively, we review budgets. We see, comprehensive plans and all of that, which I think is very similar to what the city is doing. But now on a bigger scale, as you say, on a more global scale, I think I'm ready to tackle that job and see that the taxpayers and our citizens, get the best of services that they can.
Because this is going to be a totally different type of job. I mean,
Yes,
and that's how Mayor Science, he started also with you
Yes.
as a board of trustees, and he moved on to Laredo to
I'm the mayor.
run for mayor,
Become the mayor.
and did the best he could considering all the circumstances.
Mhm.
But it's a bigger job,
It is.
and you feel confident that you can handle that type of job.
I know that I can because of all that experience that I have in my background as well. I'm a business owner, I'm running my business now after my dad's passing. So I think all those factors, contribute to being an effective and an efficient mayor.
On a side matter that I didn't get to cover a second ago, you all, as part of the trustees, you let go of the sports program.
Yes, sir.
Do you foresee the sports program coming back at one point?
It was a very difficult decision, and I know a lot of people in the community were upset that we let it go. But when you're in there and coming back from COVID, after 2 years of losing students and not having the revenues there, it was just, not feasible at that given time to be able to support programs that really do not generate a lot of contact hours for us. And then the immense expenditure, to hire people and to maintain them. It was a difficult decision, but we did it with the intention that down the road, we were going to review it again in a year or two. And now we have the money certainly, we all love sports. I'm a
Yes,
sports fan too.
because we all love sports.
Yes,
We want to make
exactly,
sure we
exactly.
provide that, and of course, maybe revamp a little bit with more local people being involved in the process.
Exactly.
But hopefully it'll open up soon. What we're going to do at this time, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with our candidate for mayor, Ms. Cynthia Mares.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the show. We're doing an interview with Ms. Mares here, who's running for mayor. Ms. Mares, to you, I had an opportunity to talk to you during the break, but what do you think are the biggest challenges Laredo is facing at this time?
Well, there's a lot of growth. I think, phenomenal growth of this city, which brings in itself, problems and concerns that have to be addressed, on a global level. I feel that, the city council, while each council person has their own districts and their own problems and their issues, I think we have to come united. We have to provide transparency to our taxpayers, let them know at every step and point that we are dealing with whatever issues they are, being the water, the infrastructure, the trash collection, whatever it is, that we are taking care of it, that they always know every step of the way where we're at.
Well, talking about those issues, about the infrastructure, I mean, we've got over 16,000 trailers passing through Laredo. It's expected to get to 28,000 in the next 4 to 6 years. Concerning the issue of the water, concerning the other types of infrastructure, even other areas of Laredo, what do you think are the biggest challenges other than those issues?
Well, I think addressing them, going right to the front of it and addressing them and looking, first of all, when you come into an office to a position, you evaluate, you and assess what's already been in progress and what's already working there. I know people get frustrated and say, well, that plan, and everybody talks about that plan, but where is that plan and what are you going to do with it? So yes, we have to take the bull by the horns and see what all of these things bring together, bring to the table, and what are we going to deal with first? I mean, you say those trailers, definitely. I've talked to all the forwarding agencies and all these drivers that are just totally concerned what's going to happen. Even if you widen, let's say, World Bridge 2, that even has more of an infusion of more trailers. And where are these trailers going? So my point is, let's look at our infrastructure. Let's see how we can deal with it first before we start moving for more economic growth.
Do you foresee, you sense that the city of Laredo was not properly prepared for this last couple of years? Or is it just grown more than what we expected to grow?
I think it's a combination, but I think, there should have been a plan. There should have been a vision that, let's say for the loop 20, we have that loop. It's supposed to have been an outer loop. We should have had a vision that is saying in 5 days, if you let development grow around here, all these subdivisions, that's going to, again, infuse more traffic. So what do we have a plan for? We built the loop. So what's the plan for 5 years from now? What are we going to do? Another loop? Another
That's
loop?
the whole point. I never understood why even this loop, the Bullock Loop has stop signs.
Traffic
things
lights
that.
and all of
Traffic
that.
lights.
It's just
That's
crazy.
not a loop.
I know it's
I
not.
mean, it's lost its original intent.
Mhm.
So I'm looking for it, especially because we know that the prices of real estate are really high for our community, compared to other communities. And the only way we're going to lower those prices is if we open up an outer loop. And I don't understand when they plan to do that. I mean, is that being the head of the MPO, or you're going to be a member of the MPO? Would that be one of your issues?
Almost definitely, that would be a priority. In other words, if that has been discussed in the past, again, to your point, why hasn't it been dealt with? And so what do we need to do now? Things are going to cost us 3 times more, to build and to do than 5 years ago or 6 years ago. Like even fixing the water issues and the pipelines. Had we followed a plan back then and said, okay, in year 1, we're going to do this west section of Laredo and remove all the piping, in year 2, et cetera, we would have spent less money then than now. Now, labor and all of that and the price of materials, I mean, we're paying 3 or 4 times the price. But it has to be done.
Right.
It has to be done. So you look at your budget, where can you trim and do and see where the money's going. The common question from all the taxpayers to me is, what are you all doing with our money? What is being done with our money? So many taxes that we pay and fees for this and fees for that. And so that's a legitimate concern.
Another issue is the issue of downtown, Mayor, Ms. Mares. There continues to be a lot of businesses that are not there, that we have a lot of empty buildings. It doesn't attract the best people to go to downtown. You have some people, maybe even some of the homeless people there, that are creating a problem. What are your thoughts about what can be done about downtown to improve the livelihood or the economy in that area?
We're going to have to inject some money, like it or not. There've been a lot of plans and a lot of things that have been started. Like, let's do this, like in Austin, and let's do a couple of streets for this festival and that festival. But I think we need to concentrate on those small business owners who were sent away because of COVID. So now we need to attract them and make them come back, provide some kind of an incentive, but we need to invest some money in there and repair the streets, repair the buildings, and it's not going to happen overnight because of the money.
Mean, you just brought up a topic that about economic assistance or technical assistance for small businesses. Are you talking about possibly economic aid to the landowners there, or are you talking about economic assistance for small business who may not be the owner, but rather would want to rent?
I'd say the latter, because I think those are the ones that are there, and those are the ones, that's their livelihood.
Yes.
That's their income. And so they've folded up, and all the owners
Literally, there were thousands of businesses that went out. I know it doesn't sound like where are they? Well, I know because I was helping a lot of them, and I it was unfortunate that I saw a lot of them go under, a lot of them during COVID. And it would be great if the city can provide some type of technical support or work with other agencies to try to attract more small business to Laredo.
Exactly.
And
I think the economic development, department should, I want to know what they're doing in terms of applying for grants, because everybody says there's bukus of money out there, whatever, but we have to really address and see, is it true? And if it is, well, then let's apply, to help the city, not, use some of its own
I think we're
money.
going to talk about that topic later on.
Okay.
I'm going to do some more research on that and get you some more information, because I want to know seriously. You brought up a topic about small businesses and what we can do for small businesses in Laredo. We can do a lot more if we put a focus on it, and I'm hopeful that you and other candidates will seriously consider that. But in the meantime, we have a problem with the fact that we've had 5 city managers, 6 attorneys who have come and gone in the last 6 to 8 years. What is going on?
I know we have to definitely look at that structural or that process, because why is it that they're not staying? And I get that question posed to me too. When I'm out on the street, they say, do you really think somebody from the outside is going to come and get involved in this mess that we have in this chaos? But my point is, why are we where we're at?
My impression is, I'm not running for office, but my impression is that some of those councilmen are undermining the city manager, trying to put pressure or get them to do certain things that they're not supposed to go through. There's supposed to be a hierarchy. They're supposed to go through the city manager's office because the city manager runs the city, not city council. And what they're doing, they're undermining, and to the point that they're feeling some type of pressure. That's where they leave.
Oh, yeah,
And
exactly.
so the same thing goes with the city attorneys.
Mhm.
They can make long-term decisions because they're kind of concerned that this city councilman is going to get angry if I make a decision like this or that. And that somehow you need to, I would recommend, or at least you're planning to do something like this, but I think you need to rein the city councilman. They need to do their job, but they're supposed to take all matters to the city manager. And if all policy matters go to the city council. But if they have nothing to do, almost nothing to do with personnel.
Exactly,
so
exactly.
I-
And that's the experience that I shared with them when they had this workshop. The city council had a workshop about the search for a city manager. I brought them to my experience at Laredo College. I said,
Well,
we've
if
done a
anyone
lot of
knows,
search
you're
committees.
the HR
You know,
director
yes.
for many years.
And we did a search for the president of the college, several searches. And so I said, it works, but you've got to let it work. You cannot micromanage. That was my point. And as part of your job description for the city manager, whatever, it's got to be a stipulation that you let him or her run the
Right.
city, you know,
That's
and
true.
that's what it
Now,
is.
when I had Mayor Science here last week, he said that, if I had an opportunity, even more so now, he thinks that the Ethics Commission is very weak. That in fact, all those complaints could have gone to the Ethics Commission and they should be dealt with and they should have done the appropriate response. And that's something, would you consider looking at the issue of the Ethics Commission to
Oh,
be a lot more
definitely.
strong?
If you look at my platform, one of my issues is the creation, the formation of a committee, but away from the city that deals with ethics and all of this, but works in tandem with possibly the district attorney. Because there's been no consequences. People do things and it's just a slap in the hand, or, oh, that's okay, it was just a mistake. That cannot happen.
Part of the problem, Ms. Mares, that I see is that some people on the board have contracts with the city of Laredo.
Yes.
And how can you have a city contract when you have, and you're under the Ethics Commission? You just,
know.
there's
That's
a
what I'm
conflict,
saying. Yeah.
in my view.
Yeah.
And it just
Now,
seems
we
to
have to
me.
put more pizzazz or more meat to that
Well,
commission and then do
Would you
another
consider
one.
possibly having a commission to look at that issue or having a review by the city manager's office to come up with some proposals?
Oh, definitely. Like I said, that's part of my plan, my proposal, because it's got to come together. Things are not jiving. And you see, we've had a lot of examples of people, abuse or misuse of power,
Right.
and that can't happen. We all should be accountable. We all should be accountable, you know?
Well, Ms. Mares, and if you get fortunate enough to be elected by the people, where do you want to take Laredo?
I want to make Laredo a better place, and that sounds like very cliche-ish or whatever, but and improve the quality of life. But I think, that we have had a lot of missed opportunities, and I think that if we come together and working together, my motto has always been teamwork, working together, everybody accomplishes more. We need to walk hand in hand with organizations, entities, our sisters or brothers in Laredo, because they share all this transportation issue. So I want to make this city a very clean, sparkling, vibrant, city where everybody has come together and everybody knows, like I said, who's on first and who's on second. To me, transparency and accountability are very key to any elected position.
That's why the city commission, ethics commission is very critical to enforce that particular
Yes,
view.
Exactly.
I'm looking forward to it.
Exactly.
Now, before we go, where can people find you? They want to donate, or they want to ask you questions, or they want to volunteer in your campaign. Where can they go?
Well, I've got a Facebook page, Cynthia Mares for Mayor, and we also have a webpage. It's www.cynthiamaresformayor.com. That page will always give you the update on events and if you want to donate, if you want to volunteer. Matter of fact, we're having the grand opening of our campaign headquarters tomorrow, so
That's
I
right.
welcome everyone to come, meet and greet, the candidate, and then we'll share some thoughts and ideas. I'd love to hear from the public. That's what I'm here for as a public servant. Our headquarters are located at 6401 Crescent Loop over there behind the arena. So tomorrow's our grand opening at 6:30. So we welcome everyone to come.
Well, it's free.
It's free, and food and music.
Can't go wrong with that. Food and music,
Yes.
Well, I'll be there.
Exactly.
But I want to thank you, Ms. Mares, for being here.
Mm-mm.
I'm really excited for you to be running. I'm looking forward to seeing you again in the show.
Thank you.
And I'll have a few more questions to ask you by then.
Sure,
But I'm really
definitely.
glad
We're
that
ready.
I remind everyone, tomorrow is a big day for Ms. Mares at her headquarters. Grand opening on, what's the address again?
6401 Crescent Loop.
641 Crescent Loop, close to the arena. Go check it out. If you do not know where it's at, check her Facebook page.
Mhm.
Cynthia Mares for mayor, and you get more information from there. And if you want to talk to her, you can also contact her as well. Thank you again for being on
Thank
the
you.
show.
It was
I want to
pleasure.
thank you.
Thank you.
Really looking forward to seeing you again.
Likewise. Thank you, sir.
I want to thank you, of course, the public for being for watching the show. We do plan to have a special showing on Friday as well. Where we'll have a couple more candidates coming in. So please come back Friday, September 30th at 11 a.m. so you can watch a few more candidates that are coming in. Thank you. Until then, I'm Mrs. Gaza. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Great job.